All right, so told you that I'm going to be talking about Sophie Cunningham. I started following her, I'm going to guess here, maybe about 6 months to a year ago on Instagram, I believe. I'm not huge on TikTok. I go on there, but mostly anytime McKenna my daughter sends me some stuff on TikTok to watch. So I'm not on there that much. I started following about 6 to 12 months ago on Instagram. And she's become one of the most recognizable personalities in women's basketball lately. Her Instagram following is now over 3 million. But what's really interesting is how quickly it happened. Now, if you don't know about the rivalry between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, you've been living under a rock somewhat. Caitlin and Angel entered the WNBA back in 2024, and they had a huge college rivalry, and it followed them into the WNBA with their heated exchanges. Now, Caitlin Clark has become one of the most, if not the most, talked about WNBA players of all time. She did not receive a warm welcome, mostly from her fellow players, not teammates, but all players in the WNBA. She was getting fouled left, right, and center, teams bashing her, and just a level of hate from other players that I don't think has ever been seen before in the WNBA. So about a year ago, during a very physical game where Caitlin received a nasty foul, if I remember correctly, I think it was a poke in the eye, and it looked somewhat intentionally. After that, Sophie Cunningham, she decided to stick up for her teammate, for Caitlin. I've got a short 20-second or so video with that exchange. McKenna, go ahead and play that.
Fire. Golson had it knocked away. Good hands by Allen. And Sheldon comes up with the steal. Sheldon going coast to coast. And we got another breakers here as J.C. Sheldon goes right after Sophie Cunningham. It was a hard foul, no question.
So it got deemed a flagrant foul, and that was Sophie. You saw take her down, almost putting her in a headlock. It was retribution after seeing her teammate, Caitlin, being just dramatically fouled and abused the entire game. And that was happening every game and still is to some degree. And that moment there, I think that was last summer, that was the beginning of the rise of Sophie's brand, her notoriety. Reports said that she gained approximately 700,000 TikTok followers and another 244,000 followers on Instagram in a matter of days. One estimate placed the marketing value of that sudden growth at more than $1 million. Since then, she's continued to rise in popularity, but what happened just a couple weeks ago is crazy. A couple weeks ago, Sophie attended UFC 329 in Las Vegas. She wasn't scheduled to participate. She was there just as a spectator, just watching the fights. And when she saw Dana White, she apparently told him she wanted to walk around the octagon as a ring girl. I've got one more short 20-second video. McKenna, go ahead and play that one.
Our referee for the co-main event, and Sophie Cunningham, Indiana Fever guard in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark's on-court enforcer, handling the octagon card duty.
When did you hire Sophie Cunningham as a ring card girl?
Why did I do it?
When did you hire her?
About 8 minutes before she did it. I love Sophie Cunningham. We've created a relationship, and she was here tonight. And when she walked in, she goes, "Oh, I want to walk around that." I said, "Then you're going to walk around it."
Imagine the popularity you have to pull that off on Sophie's side. No lengthy contract negotiation, no carefully planned campaign. She saw an opportunity. She said she wanted it and became part of the event almost immediately. Then here's another one. Just last week, a week later, after the UFC thing, I think I'm getting the timing right, just last week, Adidas released her first player exclusive version of the Crazy Energy basketball shoe. It literally sold out on Adidas on their website in less than an hour, or I think it was less than 2 hours. And most sizes disappearing almost immediately. So think about that. An athlete's personality becomes visible and her audience just explodes. She walks into a UFC event and creates a viral moment with 8 minutes notice. Then a product carrying her name on a brand as big as Adidas sells out almost immediately. That isn't an accident. I don't think it's happening simply because Sophie's good at basketball. She of course is. But there's a lot of talented professional athletes people would walk past in an airport without even recognizing them. Athletic ability may give someone the platform, but personality is often what makes people care beyond this sport. She's funny, she's impulsive, she's physical on the court, and she's willing to poke fun at herself. She also occasionally, I can't talk today, she also occasionally says things that generate controversy. But whatever you think about her, you know you're watching an actual person. And that brings me to something else she said within just the last week. Sophie was asked about, here we go, trigger alert, transgender athletes competing in women's sports. A bit of a hot topic recently over the last few years. She basically argued that only biological women and girls belong in women's sports. That, of course, stirred up some controversy and opposing opinions just this week. But she followed up with a response that said, everyone is welcome at my table. You can disagree and still be kind. And there was more to it, but that was the gist of it. So some people have criticized her, others strongly supported her. Now, whether you agree or disagree on that particular issue with her, that's not really the point I'm trying to make. The point is that she appears willing to tell people what she actually believes. She's bold. She isn't waiting for every person on the internet to approve of her before she speaks. And I think we've created this strange idea around personal branding that being successful means being acceptable to everyone. Never saying anything too personal, never saying anything someone could disagree with, or never revealing an opinion or taking a chance, or never giving anyone a reason to not like you. So people sand away every edge of their personality and then wonder why no one remembers them. Sophie Cunningham is showing us something very different. A strong personal brand doesn't necessarily make everyone like you. It allows people to know you. And once people feel like they know you, some will connect with you deeply and some will defend you and some will buy the shoe, some will listen to the podcast. That said, there is another side to this, and it's a risky side. Being authentic doesn't mean sharing every thought that enters your head. It doesn't mean manufacturing controversy because controversy creates attention. And it certainly doesn't mean being cruel just so people will call you fearless. There's a difference between having conviction and performative outrage. But there's also a difference between being thoughtful and being afraid. And I think a lot of people in business are afraid. They say they want to build a personal brand, but what they really want is attention without exposure. They want people to know them without ever showing them anything real. Loan officers do this constantly. Real estate agents do this constantly. They post mortgage rates or closing photos or home buying tips. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. We actually help with that. But people also need to know what you do. But if that's all you ever share, they may understand your occupation without having any idea who you truly are. They don't necessarily know what you believe. They don't know what makes you laugh, and they don't know what you care about or stand up for. They don't know what you would spontaneously ask Dana White to let you do with 8 minutes notice. And maybe that's why Sophie's rise has been so dramatic. Now, I'm not typically an advocate for sharing polarizing political views or religious views and so on, but if you strip too much away, you risk entering the bland brand category. Sophie didn't suddenly become more visible because she invented a perfect marketing strategy. She became visible because more people finally saw her personality. And instead of retreating from that attention, she leaned into it. Not everyone likes her, but millions of people know who she is. And in a world filled with carefully managed, professionally approved, completely forgettable content, sometimes the thing that makes people pay attention is simply finding someone who still has a few edges left. So here's the question. If someone followed you for 6 months, could they describe who you are, or would they only know what you sell?